welcome to another episode of Hidden Gems. Joining us again is David, who is the growth and customer success at Covalent. You might have remembered on the previous episode of Built on Blockchain, we specifically talked about one of the research papers that David did on Arbitrum on optimism. But David, what are we overviewing today?
Today, we're going to talk about a new research paper I recently did on the topic of zkEVMs.
Okay, perfect. Can you explain why zkEVMs are generating such excitement in the world of crypto and Web3, and also share some of the insights on your research paper on the topic?
Yeah, for sure. So it's always a pleasure to be on Hidden Gems again, Jackie. So thanks for having me on. And I'm sure everyone has probably heard the term zkEVM a lot these days. And what zkEVMs are the latest upgrade to zero-knowledge rollups. And zero-knowledge rollups are an Ethereum Layer 2 solution. And it's super exciting because general-purpose zkEVMs, they have the potential to significantly improve the scalability of Ethereum, which I'll expand a bit on later. It's also super exciting because previous talks of zkEVMs have just been announcements of announcements. So teams have been saying, we're going to announce that, down the line, we're going to announce something. But now, actually 2 months ago, it's become a lot more tangible as these development teams, they've actually taken concrete steps to implement the zkEVM. So just in Q1 of this year, we saw some major milestones from zkEVM teams. For example, on March 3rd, Scroll launched their alpha testnet. And on March 27th, Polygon launched their mainnet beta. And on March 28th, Consensus unveiled its own zkEVM, which is called Linea. These milestones have been a big deal for the broader ecosystem, and Covalent have also been integrating with all of them. So, using all the data, I compiled a research paper diving deeper into these zkEVMs and explaining why they're widely regarded as the ultimate scaling solution for Ethereum, and also some of the different types of zkEVMs, the top teams developing them, with EVM-equivalence specifically, which I can also expand on later, and also some of the data behind their adoption and traction. So I'm happy to unpack all of this in today's podcast, and hopefully by the end of it, can give all the listeners a better understanding of why zkEVMs are such a game changer for the future of Ethereum and our entire industry.
All right, can't wait to just unpackage all of that. I guess to set the stage for our discussion on zkEVMs, could you provide an overview of the current landscape of Ethereum L2 solutions?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm more than happy to. So there's two main types of layer 2s, optimistic rollups and zk rollups. And both of them aim to increase the throughput and also lower the transaction fees on Ethereum by processing these transactions off its layer 1. So transactions are processed off Ethereum's layer 1, but it still leverages Ethereum for settlement and also data availability. So basically, this allows for the computation to take place off-chain, while the proofs of the computation happening accurately are still uploaded on-chain to Ethereum's layer 1. So the primary difference between optimistic rollups and zk rollups are in kind of how they validate the transactions itself. So for optimistic rollups, they assume that all the transactions are valid by relying on other actors to kind of submit proofs during a 1-week settlement period to the Ethereum mainnet. And for zk rollups, they validate all the transactions by using mathematically verifiable proofs that settle on the Ethereum mainnet immediately. So compared to optimistic rollups, we can kind of see that these zk rollups are more favorable because of the instant settlements. And they also have other advantages in transaction finality and also withdrawal times because of it. Because, like I mentioned, there's no 1-week settlement period like the optimistic rollups. So this allows these users to kind of bridge faster between the rollups or back to Ethereum mainnet faster as well. But despite the zk rollups' advantages, optimistic rollups actually have been gaining way more adoption in the L2 space because they're easier to implement and also compatible with the EVM, which basically allows, the porting of code and toolings from Ethereum's layer 1 to the optimistic rollup layer 2s. In contrast, these zk rollups, they started out with custom virtual machines, which made them harder to adopt. And these custom virtual machines were often, application specific, such as DYDX and Loopring, two projects that are like that. And it has made it pretty challenging for developers and users to adopt them. But with the launch of zkEVMs, though, the whole landscape is changing now. And these zk rollups that were previously hard to adopt because of their custom virtual machines are now EVM compatible and equivalent. So it's going to be super exciting for the entire industry as a whole.
Man, you look so excited talking about it. I love it.
Yeah.
I love the passion. Why are zkEVMs widely viewed as the ultimate solution of scaling Ethereum, and what makes them so promising?
Yeah, so the zkEVM is a significant breakthrough for Ethereum layer 2s because, like I mentioned earlier, it enables these zk rollups to be EVM compatible and also general purpose instead of just being application specific. So now developers and users, they can enjoy the same functionality as Ethereum's layer 1 while reaping the benefits of zk technology, which is its awesome scalability and settlement speeds. So this puts these zk rollups on a path to challenge optimistic rollups. And this also aligns with Vitalik's prediction in 2021, back in the day, that zk rollups with their inherent advantages would eventually outcompete these optimistic rollups. So as these incredible development teams, which are our partners, continue to build and ship, we can expect zkEVMs to gain significant traction in the coming months.
Okay. Can you provide an overview of the different type of zkEVMs and shed some light on the zkEVM race?
Yeah, of course. So there has been an ongoing friendly rivalry between optimistic and zk rollup teams. They're both kind of competing to see who can better scale Ethereum and develop the best scaling solution. But interestingly, there's another race that's brewing within the zk rollup sector itself, and that is to see which team can be the first to develop Type 1 and Type 2 zkEVMs. So back in August last year, Vitalik, again, actually, he introduced some classifications to map out different zkEVMs based on EVM compatibility. So according to his classifications, there are 4 types of zkEVMs, which can be seen on the screen here. So a type 1 zkEVM, it's fully equivalent to Ethereum. So what that means is that it can reuse 100% of the EVM infrastructure, and it can also even be used to upgrade Ethereum itself. However, this type of zkEVM has the longest prover times, as there's no modifications made to speed up the zk proof generation. And the prover is basically the part of the code that generates zk proofs. And type 2 zkEVMs, they are fully EVM equivalent. And what they do is they trade full Ethereum equivalency, unlike type 1s, for faster prover times and easier development. So a few Ethereum dApps may not be compatible with this type of zkEVM with the type 2s, but it has improved prover times, and that's crucial for faster finality of these rollup transactions. And now we're moving into type 3 zkEVMs, and these zkEVMs have further changes to improve the proof generation to make building on it easier and easier. So while this type of zkEVM can be compatible with only some Ethereum dApps, some others could also require some rewriting for it to be deployed on a type 3. And finally, for the type 4 zkEVMs, those can actually only compile some EVM code and be compatible with a little bit of Ethereum dApps. And it's also not compatible with the EVM itself. But on the good side, the type 4 zkEVMs have the lowest costs and the fastest prover times of all zkEVM types. So as you move from type 1 to type 4, type 1 has the longest prover times and type 4 has the fastest prover times. But type 1 also has the most compatibility with Ethereum, and type 4 has the least compatibility with Ethereum. So those are kind of the trade-offs these 4 types of zkEVMs are making.
Okay, I really love the charts, like easy to read and understand the 4 different types. So thanks for sharing that. And the other question that we've gotten quite often is, for those who are new to the topic, could you explain the difference between EVM equivalence and EVM compatibility?
Yeah, absolutely. It definitely gets pretty confusing at times with these words getting thrown around. But EVM compatibility basically enables blockchain compatibility with Ethereum, but the developer experience may differ. For example, like I mentioned before, it may require some rewriting of smart contracts or the re-implementing of lower level code, for example. But on the other hand, EVM equivalence, it ensures full bytecode compatibility with Ethereum. And what bytecode is, it's the executable code on the EVM. So this means that any smart contract or developer tool from the Ethereum Layer 1 ecosystem can be used on the EVM equivalent network too. So this is a big advantage mainly for developers. So the main difference would be EVM compatibility is compatible with Ethereum, but the developer experience is not exactly the same as Ethereum's Layer 1, whereas EVM equivalence, it's almost exactly the same as Ethereum's Layer 1. And the EVM equivalence, due to this, it simplifies the migration of Ethereum-based dApps and also enables easier interoperability with EVM dApps on other layer ones and layer twos. So that's why, the goal of a zkEVM ultimately, based on the 4 categorizations, is to have a full EVM equivalent or a type 2 zkEVM, while the truest form is to reach full Ethereum equivalence or a type 1 zkEVM.
Okay, lots of information on the comparisons. What I'm curious about is who are the leading development teams driving the development of EVM equivalent zkEVMs, and what progress have they made so far?
So I may be a little bit biased here, but I would say the leading development teams are our partners, Covalent's partners, Polygon zkEVM, Scroll, and Linea. And they're by no means an exhaustive list, but they're the zkEVM teams currently supported by us. And they're also a good representation of the general purpose zkEVMs, like you mentioned, that are aiming for greater EVM equivalence and not just compatibility. So, these are the most developer friendly ones. And this table kind of here on the screen, it summarizes the latest information on Polygon zkEVM, Scroll, and Linea. And we can see from here that, all of them are currently working to be type 2 zkEVMs. Polygon zkEVM, it's initially a type 3, but it's going through some upgrades to become a type 2. Scroll is also working towards achieving a type 2 zkEVM, having started as a type 3. And Linea, actually, it already falls under the type 2 categorization. So it's fully bytecode compatible, as we can see on the screen here, with Ethereum, and it also allows developers to easily port their code from Ethereum's layer 1 without any major changes.
Okay. Would you be able to provide an analysis on Polygon zkEVM and its growth?
Yep, for sure. So Polygon as a company, it's mainly been known for its proof of stake sidechain or POS chain, but it kind of recognized its limitations, and it has been working towards a more efficient zk-based blockchain. So all the way back in August 2021, Polygon actually, they had a $1 billion strategic fund to invest in the development of like zk related technology. And in that same month, it acquired Hermes network. And Hermes was already building a zkEVM. And, together the two organizations, they collaborated, and, they together built the Polygon zkEVM, which is the zkEVM that we know today. And, just in March 27th this year, they launched the Polygon zkEVM on mainnet beta. So it's the first zkEVM on mainnet, and it's made accessible to all the developers and users in the space right now. So, while it only just launched 2 months ago, it's already seeing, great growth in usage. And according to our data here, users have bridged slightly more than 5 million in funds to the Polygon zkEVM, which is super impressive. And, its future looks also very, very bright because it's continuing to attract popular DeFi protocols such as Uniswap, Balancer, and Hop, just to name a few, to the Polygon zkEVM. And also, it's still going to be used to underpin the immutable zkEVM's infrastructure. So Polygon zkEVM and Immutable, they're collaborating to build a chain zkEVM just to revolutionize Web3 gaming. So, with all these developments going on in the Polygon zkEVM ecosystem, we can expect it to be a big player and play a significant role in DeFi and gaming moving forwards.
Can you tell us about Scroll and its traction?
Yeah, definitely. While Scroll may not be as well known as some of the other development teams, such as Polygon zkEVM or Linea, it has actually been an OG in the space. It's been collaborating with, the Ethereum Foundation's Privacy and Scaling Explorations group since day one. And in March of this year, Scroll actually announced a huge fundraise of 50 million, which puts them at a valuation about 1.8 billion, I believe, which is really impressive as well. And on March 3rd, Scroll took a major step forward by launching its alpha testnet. And, the alpha testnet is seeing very, very healthy traction so far as well. So according to our data, the Scroll alpha testnet has gained over 3 million unique wallet addresses since it launched. But it's also worth noting that this surge in unique wallet addresses could be due to some speculation around their upcoming token launch. Their team has hinted at creating an incentive mechanism to encourage, people participating in the network. But I think overall that Scroll has really distinguished itself by developing the zkEVM very transparently and collaboratively. And also the Scroll alpha testnet, right now, it's probably the best opportunity for developers and users who want to test and, play around with zkEVMs and also contribute to Scroll's development as it marches towards its mainnet, which is coming later this year.
Okay, I'm loving the visually inspiring charts. They're just all going up in
Up and to the right. We love to see it. So Linea is the newest zkEVM actually to enter this entire playing field. And it's been in development by Consensus R&D since 2019. And it's actually powered by Consensus. And for those of you who don't know, Consensus is the software giant behind products we all use, such as MetaMask, Infura, and Truffle. And on March 28th this year, a day after Polygon zkEVM went live on mainnet beta, Linea introduced its public testnet to the world and also users as well. And currently, lots of users are being onboarded at a rapid pace. As our data shows here, the Linea Gorelli testnet has seen over 600K unique wallet addresses sign up. And developers are also deploying many dApps on Linea using familiar tools such as MetaMask, Infura, and Truffle, just as they would on Ethereum. And I think what really sets Linea apart is their reputation, right? Consensus has a great reputation in our space, and that has enabled Linea to secure many partnerships with protocols such as Lens, Seller, Cashmere, and more. And all of these dApps are expected to contribute to Linea's future growth.
Oh, thanks for sharing the information on Linea. But I'd love to get to know your opinion on how do you think zkEVMs will reshape the Ethereum landscape and enhance the user experience for developers and end users?
I think for years, the Ethereum community has embraced the idea that zk rollups are the most promising scaling solution. But it was not until recently that a general purpose zkEVM capable of running all current Ethereum dApps became available. So I think as Ethereum progresses towards its goal of scaling ultimately, the introduction of a type 1 zkEVM will completely change the game, but that's going to be further down the line. In the meantime, though, type 2 zkEVMs offer significant UX enhancements for developers, and they also give users a brand new frontier to explore. So as zkEVMs continue to mature and the dApps on them continue to grow, I predict that zkEVMs, they'll no doubt outcompete optimistic rollups and become the leading scaling solution for Ethereum.
Wow, thanks so much for sharing your opinion. Is there anything else that you'd like to share, like closing remarks before we end the episode?
Yeah, I think if you want to check out and learn more about this research paper, you can always go on Covalent's blog website and go to the ecosystem section. You can find lots more research papers there, and there's more coming out once a month. There's also cool company updates on the Covalent blog and product updates. So be sure to check out the Covalent blog and also our website.
Yeah, we can definitely include those in the link in the description. And for those who haven't seen the last episode on Built on Blockchain with the research analysis that David has done on Arbitrum and optimism, you can click on the link above to watch that episode. Like and subscribe because we will be coming out with a lot more of these. And yeah, we'll have David talk more on his research analysis and the papers. Thanks so much, David.
Yeah, of course. Can't wait to hop on Hidden Gems next time.
All right. Bye, everyone.
All right. See you soon.